Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Let's continue with lesson 18. This will be the fifth concept. So in the lesson we see the word hayya. Hayya bina, hayya bina. And hayya is one of a set of words that are called ismul fi'l. Ismul fi'l. You can put alif lam here. Ismul fi'l, right? Go ahead. A ism of a fi'l, meaning it's an ism, but it has the meaning of a fi'l. It's an ism, has the meaning of a fi'l. So what can we say about ism fi'l? تدل على معنى الفعل. As we mentioned, it has the meaning, carries the meaning of a fi'l, but it is not a fi'l, it is an ism. تعمل عمله. It has all the amal, all the actions. It does the work of a fi'l basically, right? So what does a fi'l do? A fi'l, it can make something mansoob, so on. It has different tense, meaning it has like al-madi, mudari, amr, and so on. So all of that applies to the word that is the ism fi'l. Hayya. Literally here it means come on, like come. Aqdim. It has a meaning in Arabic of aqdim. Aqdim means come. Aqdim, come. So let's say you're in a group or with some people and you say, let's go, come on. So you say hayya bina. Hayya bina. The bina is the ba, harful jar, and noon of jam, the damir. Bina, with us. Hayya itself, again, ismul fi'l. So here it would be ism fi'l. Amr, it's an amr, it has the meaning of amr, it's commanding you. Come, aqdim, aqdim is a amr. We have another example. Okay, we can put a sukoon here. So when do you say that? You say that when you feel pain. Atawajja'u has the meaning of atawajja'u. So it's a fi'l mudari'. Has the meaning of a fi'l mudari'. Okay? We'll see in another lesson how to express when you have pain, like in different parts of your body. I feel pain. Okay? Another example, the word uffin, which I'm sure many of you probably heard this word already. Uffin, okay, or uff. It means atadajjaru. Atadajjaru, which is a fi'l mudari'. So it carries the meaning of a fi'l mudari'. It means I am annoyed or I am bored. Okay? I am annoyed or I am bored. Atadajjaru. So this has the meaning of al mudari'. And then we have another example here. Ameen. Ameen. We know this, very familiar with this. We say it all the time, right? Ameen. And it has the meaning of a amr, command form verb, which means istajib. Istajib, or it means answer. Istajib, answer. So when you make a dua, you're saying, oh Allah, answer my prayer. Istajib, accept my prayer, or answer my prayer. So again, what do we need to know about this? It's a ism fi'l, ismul fi'li. What about ismul fi'l? What do we need to know? That it has the meaning of a fi'l. It is an ism. Okay, it does the action of a fi'l, meaning it can take a maf'ulun bihi and so on. Okay, لا تقبل علاماتي. It doesn't take the signs of the fi'l. It doesn't take the signs of a fi'l. Okay, which we'll see later on examples of it not taking the sign of the fi'l. Which with a fi'l, what can you put at the end of the fi'l? You can add a ya. You can say idhabi, idhabu. And so on. So it doesn't follow all of those rules. The next, let me explain this a little bit more. I'm going to switch the camera. Don't look at this as yet. It'll be covered later on. Let's look over here. So to continue with the ismul fi'l, we have some examples. Example number 1. In Surah Al-Isra, verse 23, Allah says, وَلَا تَقُلْ لَهُمَا أُفٍّ وَلَا تَقُلْ لَهُمَا أُفٍّ. And do not say to them, meaning the parents, the mother and father, uff. Right? Remember what uff means? Okay, it's a ismul fi'l or ismul fi'l al-mudari'. has the meaning of al-mudari. بمعنى, by the meaning of أتضجر. أتضجر means I am annoyed at you. Or don't say any words that gives the meaning of you being annoyed with them, or you're also being bored with them. So don't say uff. ولا تقل لهما uffin. Okay, this is very good advice from our Rabb, inshallah ta'ala, that will benefit us tremendously with birrul walidain, being good to our parents. Another example is in Surah Al-Mu'minun, verse number 36. Allah says, hayhata hayhata lima tu'adun. Hayhata hayhata lima tu'adun. So basically, one of the prophets, I think it was, I forgot which prophet it was in this ayah, but when he brings the message to them and telling them that they're going to be resurrected after they die, and when they're put back together, they're going to answer for their deeds and so on. So, like many people, they don't think that it is possible to come back alive once they have been once they died. So, how did they respond to the message? They said, hayhata hayhata ba'uda, which means how far. This is very far-fetched, basically. How far is that which you are promised? Okay, hayhata hayhata lima tu'adun. This is lamul mulk, lima. Okay, this ma is ma al lima tu'aduna. This will be ma al, I think it will be ma al mawsula. Yes, ma al mawsula, lima tu'aduna. Okay, how far to that which tu'aduna is a verb, is a fi'l. We haven't studied this fi'l in detail as yet. It's coming up soon. It's mabniun al-majhul. How far is that which you are promised? Meaning, we have been promised that we will be resurrected. And they're thinking that this is very far-fetched. It's not possible for Allah to do that. So they said, hayhata hayhata lima tu'adun. Little do they know. And the third example is in Surah Al-Ma'idah, verse 105, where Allah says, عليكم أنفسكم لا يضركم من ضل إذا اهتديتم. عليكم, this is the fi'l amr right here. This is the ism fi'l amr. عليكم أنفسكم لا يضركم من ضل إذا اهتديتم. Okay, so literally عليكم here means ilzamu, meaning ilzamu meaning basically stick to yourself, worry about yourself, be concerned about yourself. Alaykum here means what? Ilzamu. Ilzamu. Ilzamu anfusakum. Worry about yourself, stick to yourself. La yadurrukum man dalla. It's not going to hurt you. Man dalla, whosoever is misguided. إِذَا اهْتَدَيْتُمْ, as long as you are guided. So, again, عَلَيْكُمْ أَنفُسَكُمْ لَا يَضُرُّكُمْ مَنْ ضَلَّ إِذَا اهْتَدَيْتُمْ. Obviously, there's a lot of explanation. A lot of explanation is needed for this ayah. But you have the literal meaning now. عَلَيْكُمْ أَنفُسَكُمْ ismul fi'l. Notice that alaykum, because it does the action, it takes the action of a fi'l, it took a maf'ulun bihi. Anfusakum is a maf'ulun bihi. So even though this is an ism, it's not a fi'l, it has the meaning of a fi'l, it takes a maf'ulun bihi. Alaykum anfusakum la yadurrukum man dalla idha ihtadaytum. And it means ilzamu. Okay. So we covered the fifth concept. Let's go now to the sixth and the last one of this lesson. Okay. So we saw in the lesson, we saw this word, or this construction. علبة الحلوى هذه. علبة الحلوى هذه. This tin of sweets. This tin, and علبة is a tin, like aluminum tin. علبة الحلوى, halwa is sweets. So we have a mudaf and a mudafun ilayhi. علبة الحلوى, tin of sweets. هذه, this. Basically, in the Arabic language, let's say you have, let's say you have a book. All right. you have a book. So you want to say my book. You want to do mudaf ilayhi. You say kitabi, my book. But what if we want to describe the book as well, as saying, or give additional information saying that this book. So first you start off with saying kitabi, then you add hada at the end of it. Kitabi hada, which translates as this book of mine. Kitabi hada. Okay? Or qalamuka, let's say this is your pen. Qalamuka hada. Qalamuka hada. This pen of yours, it translates as. So here we have this tin of sweets. This tin of sweets. So let's look at a little review to understand this. So we did هذا الكتاب, okay, this book, هذا الكتاب, and we said this is a badal, هذا, and this comes the badal, right? هذا الكتاب. We explained that. I think that was book 1. Then we saw هذا الكتاب can also mean this is the book. I've seen many questions in the comments where people were asking about this. هذا الكتاب. Can you say that? Because we learned how to say هذا كتاب, this is a book. What if you want to say this is the book? You can say هذا الكتاب. This is okay. But the book didn't, the author didn't start off teaching this. I guess he wanted you to say, to express that by saying هذا هو الكتاب. هذا هو الكتاب. Nevertheless, you could say هذا الكتاب. This would be the mubtada, this would be the khabar. This is the book. This is the book. Okay? ذلك الكتاب. ذلك الكتاب, which literally translates as that is the book. That is the book. However, like in Surah Al-Baqarah, ذلك الكتاب لا ريب فيه, it actually translates as this book, because it is a form of eloquence basically, where Allah is referring to the book as ذلك to show the importance. So when something is in front of you and it is close, and you should normally use هذا, اسم الإشارة للقريب, instead of using هذا, if you want to show how important this is, you use البعيد. ذلك الكتاب, that book, but you actually mean this book, because the book is so important. Even though it's in front of you, you know, it's being referred to in the بعيد. ذلك الكتاب. Next, let's look at examples. Okay, so كتاب تاريخ. Tarikh means history. So a history book is called كتاب التاريخ. Alright? We get that. We have a mudaf and a mudaf ilayhi. Okay? But if you wanted to say this history book, you would say كتاب تاريخ هذا. كتاب تاريخ هذا. If you say هذا كتاب تاريخ, the meaning is totally different. If you put هذا in front of it, it changes the whole sentence. Okay? هذا كتاب تاريخ is totally different from what is being mentioned here. كتاب تاريخ هذا, and this is not a complete sentence. This history book. So let's assume that this was a history book. We would say كتاب تاريخ هذا. كتاب تاريخ هذا. Now what about it? كتاب تاريخ هذا, this history book, من أصعب الكتب, is from the most difficult of books. Okay? My sentence is complete. So كتاب تاريخ هذا. Okay? How do you do the i'rab of it? كتاب تاريخ. كتاب will be the mubtada. This will be the mubtada. Alright? The khabar would come additionally, will be missing. Okay? So this is an incomplete sentence here. كتاب التاريخ is the mudaf ilayhi. So we have a mudaf and mudaf ilayhi. And هذا, what would be the i'rab of هذا? Some grammarians, some nuhat, they say that this is considered to be a na'at. It is a na'at. It is describing what? Is it describing the history or the book? Describing the book. Okay? كتاب تاريخ هذا. Okay? So if I said, for instance, this car of mine, I would say سيارتي. Let me just put it here. سيارتي, my car. هذه. سيارتي هذه. This car of mine. This car of mine. هذه is matching سيارة, because سيارة is مؤنث, is feminine. Alright? Okay, let's keep going. Then we see كتاب تاريخ هذا من أفضل الكتب اليوم. So it's giving an example. كتاب تاريخ هذا, meaning this history book, من أفضل الكتب, are from the best books اليوم, today. Alright, so this is just a completion of the sentence. Okay, so hopefully you understood that. Bismillah, we'll see examples in the book, inshallah ta'ala. And that completes the an answer, all of the concepts for this lesson, inshallah. Alhamdulillah.